what's up guys, Diplex here again. Welcome back to Men of War Assault Squad 2 and Born in the Fire America mod. Hope you guys enjoyed that little cinematic intro. Very short indeed, but I just had to do something now that I have this really cool lineup. And let me know in the comment section below if you can actually guess what movie I took that sound file from. It's not from a movie depicting the War of 1812, but it is a movie that depicts a conflict that occurred on the same continent only about, 35 years earlier, so to speak. So that is something you can think of. Let me know in the comment section below if you can guess. The winner wins a shout out in the next video. Okay, but this is part 2, and we are doing the final battle. This is just, 12 hours after the previous battle, so to speak, which was when the 60th Rifles, supported by some line infantry from, they've got blue facings. Maybe they are the 8th King's Own, something like that. A royal regiment at least, something along those lines. Assisted the Rifles in securing this part, so the advantage is going to go to the Brits this time around. They're going to be able to deploy along the whole line instead of having American troops occupying this area, whereas the Brits could only focus their power here. We've got the command staff. There's a colonel back here and his regiment in front of him. Or there's just a battalion, but there's plenty more troop placements throughout the map. We've got men from the 60th Rifles here, and I don't know why I'm starting to lift a little bit, but I've noticed it now, just seconds ago. We've got some men from what I suppose is the 71st, right? And that is pretty cool, the 71st, because they've got the Shakos. They were the only Highland regiment that had the regular Shakos with sort of a tartan wrap around it, so to speak, if that makes any sense to you. And the rest of the map has been extended. The American troops have set up a line defense with barricades and whatnot along the road. They've got a bit of a junction defense here as well. They've also set up defenses on the hill. They've cut down trees. They've built fortifications. And they have a lot of the militia nearby, the recently raised troops, sort of like irregular regulars. Like regular militiamen. They're not like Minutemen, civilians. They're soldiers, but they're more of a militia kind of style. But they've got uniforms and stuff like that as well. There's more troops back here. There's an artillery section. There's a bridge. There's a few crossings. Now, you can't cross in the water. You can cross the bridge, and you can cross some of these shallows, but that's about it. The main goal for the Brits is to take this hill. The Americans will be receiving reinforcements, so will the Brits, and it's going to be a pretty damn cool battle. Now, unfortunately, the way Men of War works, as soon as I hit start, you're not going to be seeing that of a lovely formation moving up. Hopefully that doesn't ruin anything. That's just because there's trees in the way, and when I, honestly, secret tip here, when I recorded the cinematic, I deleted and erased everything, completely flattened the ground back here just so that they would march straight. For some reason in this game, they don't march straight if there's an object in front of them. I wish they would march all the way straight right until they reach the object, and then they would deviate from the line, so to speak. But that isn't always the case. So, without further ado, I think we are ready to hit that start button and enjoy ourselves a pretty cool battle. I am excited because this is going to be some battalion action here. We have troops. Is it the 8th? Could it be the 8th King's Zone? It could be the 4th as well. I'm not sure if they were in the North Americas. But, yeah, blue facings it is. I wonder if they were still called King's Own in the War of 1812. No, they were just the Kings, not King's Own. But yeah, all these regiments had like nicknames on the British side. So sometimes after a region or an area or a monarch or a king or anything like that, or a prince would also be common and stuff like that. Look at that. So they're going to be the ones to attack first. The reserves, or a second company, is remaining back here. Not currently involved in the action. I would like to see some Royal Artillery shake up the hill a little bit. Because for some reason the AI don't like doing it themselves. But they're going to be firing. They're not hitting the front, are they? They're shooting above that, right? Tell me you're shooting above the actual barricade. We're looking for an impact down there. Yep, they are. I can confirm Oh, that is beautiful. And the Americans are still holding the hill. It's a really cool scenery, actually. You got the lines back there. We'll see if they send up the reserves. How's it looking with the rifles? Have the rifles started moving yet? They've not been given the command to move yet. The major in command of the rifles are waiting for... Well, they're timing it, I suppose. Were pocket watches around in the late 1700s? I wish I knew. I know they were around in 1800s, that's for sure. But, like... Yeah, I'd like to know. I'll have to find out. Because otherwise, timing... I mean, I guess they'd have a courier or a messenger run in between the two lines and be like, yo, be attacking now. You coming? So now the rifles are moving up. Let's have a look at the rifles. Good looking rifles, man. Good looking rifles. So if you guys want to see more War of 1812 battles, let me know. We got a little Niagara campaign idea going. And bigger battles and more battles. No one likes night battles, by the way. So the previous one, I mean, wasn't overly well received. But then again, no one it doesn't matter if it's squad or men of war or anything. Night battles, people can't see shit. So people don't watch it. That's how it works. Same thing with Total War games. But anyway, I mean, I can't hardly see stuff either. The rifles are engaged. Oh, they took a few volleys. They weren't entirely sure where to face the Americans, but look at that white smoke line along the entire road, just signaling that there are men. There are men firing there. The Americans are still holding the hill gallantly. Very nice. I haven't seen such decisive performance in a while. Look at that. They've lost, I mean, men. They've lost dozens at the front, but they're still holding nicely, and they're gunning down a lot of Brits. Very nice. Ah, look at that. The 1st Battalion moved to Canada in 1808 as the Napoleonic Wars extended to the Americas. Within a year, in January 1809, the battalion had embarked at Barbados. Okay, so they were in Martinique and stuff like that. Sporadic raids into Canada on the eastern frontier provided impetus for a former regimental officer. So, the 8th Foot and Canadian militia had to traverse across the frozen St. Lawrence River. So they were in the... That's a good guess, Simon. Very good guess to think that the 8th was in North America at the time. Very good guess indeed. I think that was because there was a North American regiment back in Napoleonic Wars, a game I used to play. That chose the name 8th because it had some sort of relation to America at least. But yes, very cool indeed. The reserves have not yet moved up. What about the 71st? Oh, the front party of the 71st has moved up. So they set out a section first, light infantry. Fraser's Highlanders, I suppose. That would be the 71st. And they're just battling it on the side here now. Ooh, man, American reinforcements coming in. Quite a lot. Oh, shit. That's a lot of reinforcements moving in. No one really going for the hill. I think it's time we need to commit to the reserves soon. Let's take a look at casualties. Well, the Americans are definitely starting to take more casualties now, but the Brits were starting to thin out a little bit in numbers. We can tell here by the red bodies on the ground. They're moving up. Oh, come on, don't pull back. Colonel. The colonel talks to the captain. Captain, I think it's time we commit the reserves. Give Captain Batty a little help taking the hill. Don't you say? Yes, sir. Of course. Come on. Commit the reserves. You've got even more reserves here on the left. Okay, well, I'm not sure how they've done this with battalions and companies and whatnot, but there's another battalion company just here, which is also known as more of a center company. They're ready to move up, but oh, look, they've got the color sergeant as well in there with the spontoon. I do believe it's called a spontoon. Well, the Brits are starting to take the hill. There's still Americans defending it. none of the reinforcements that arrived for the Americans seem to go up here. No, there's actually plenty in the forest here. Look, they're waiting to kind of like counterattack and I suppose retake the hill. But the rifles, poor rifles, they are taking casualties, and a lot of them. Look, hardly any on the American side. What a shocker, I must say. But the good old 71st now, committed with the rest of the center companies, are now, well, they're definitely not taking a single casualty so far. Good old 71st. So they're going to be moving up here on the left side, and then getting closer and closer to the objective. It looks like the Americans have more or less abandoned their defenses here after taking a lot of casualties. Some have pulled back, as you can tell over here, but some have also moved to the left to consolidate with this force. So there's a lot of I think we might have to take a look at the minimap for everyone out there watching to understand what's going on. And we'll mark the Americans in blue, which is appropriate, and the Brits in red. And you can tell definitely what's going on here. And the reserves has finally been committed to the right flank, so another section is moving up. Look at that. Look at the color sergeant and the flag carrier just standing there. Have they been killed? I'm not entirely sure. But the flag carriers aren't big fighters, so to speak. They're not a big fan of the gruesome. Oh, don't stain the flag on the ground. But alas, the infantry is moving up, looking very good too, I have to say. So they're starting to take the hill now, battling it out with the revolutionaries down here. Or not the revolution. They're not any revolutionaries anymore. No. The invaders, so to speak, the aggressors. The aggressors. But we are on American soil now, so. This is later on in the war, after the more attempted invasions of Canada by America. I mean, they did succeed to some extent, but were mostly beaten back. And we'll see if we can do a video where we burn down the White House in Washington, which would be interesting. And before you comment saying that that's crazy, and you know, do check your history. As weird as it might sound, at one point in the war, the Brits actually marched down and burnt it down. Or, well, I mean, I suppose as much as they could. So, yes, don't tread on the Queen, I suppose you could say. But right now, it's not looking overly good for the Brits. The 60th Rifles have almost been forced to retreat and change their positions. The Americans are almost like counterattacking in the center. And there's more... Oh, I think some American artillery on the other side is putting work here on the hill, so it's going to be hard to hold. There's so much battling going on here. It's so violent. More Americans moving up here in a push. Is this a second wave of reinforcements? There sure is a lot. But the Brits, they have strength and skill. Battle experience right now. Especially seasoned regiments who have seen action in Europe and other places during the Napoleonic Wars. They're gonna come here and show where the locker's at, or whatever you say in English. We say in Swedish, visa var skåpet ska stå, which means show where the let's show them where the dresser should stand, or the locker, or the cabinet, or whatever. It's just like a furniture, you know. Show it where it stands. That's like way of saying let's show them how it's done. But granted, there are probably no veterans of the 1776 war that are under the age of 50 by now, so, or the American Revolution, so a lot of new, more fresher people. But obviously there were, I do believe the Americans must have seen some war or battle before the War of 1812, after the American Revolution. Perhaps south, perhaps in Mexico and around that place, you know. But yes, once again, not entirely sure, I haven't actually dug into some of those more vague time periods with smaller conflicts and skirmishes between countries, but it's always interesting to do so. American battery back here opening fire. Should we? I think it's time we move the British artillery to the hill. What are you doing? Yeah, see, walking into the... yeah, I think backing it up might be the smartest thing to do here. I'm gonna do that. This is slow. This is gonna be painful. There we go. Oh, come on. Turn, 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 and walk. There we go. And he's moving up there. And... well, I don't know about you, really. I'll send you up there. We'll see if you can make it. We'll see if the heavy 12-pounders can be pushed up the slope like that. That'll be difficult. Oh, man, the American infantry in the center right now have gotten quite flanked by the British lines, and they're still holding the hill. Let's take a look at casualties. The American casualties will be in yellow, British in red. And you can tell that them trying to retake the hill wasn't all too successful. Brits didn't take as many casualties as the Americans had hoped. Wow. But there's still a lot of firepower left here in the center. Oh, man. Look at... oh, man. Oh, man. What do I sound like? Who says that now again? There's some YouTubers, some German note-hunters like, oh, man. Anyway. Plenty of casualties here in the open field as some of the American reinforcing units tried duking it out in a firefight with the 60th Rifles. It didn't work that well, and now some of the 71st are moving to the right here to support. One company is just trying to do the river crossing thing here, but that's going to be difficult. We've got American artillery here, American howitzers. Oh, nice. And they're going to be firing at the 71st, trying to cross this river. So the 71st is going to try and cross this. They might even cross it very soon. Look, they're ginger. They're ginger Scotsmen. And while they're moving over, some are moving to the right as well to support the... I suppose perhaps some of the firepower from the 71st here came in handy here for the poor 60th Rifles. But numbers, once again, are on the American side. It's a defend and attack scenario, but once again, I do feel like the Americans will have more units somehow in the battle, but obviously they're spaced out. So if they were all shoved in one place at the same time, it would have been a much quicker and much less exciting battle. So they're a little more spread out, so they'll be able to do the same kind of damage, but over a more extended period of time. So while the British might have had a bigger punching force right now, as the battle extends and continues, they'll drain the energy and manpower more progressively and slowly than the more instant drains that the Brits are going for, where they're more sudden attacks. If that made any sense. Oh boy, is there a lot of artillery here right now. Did the Brits get their guns up on the hill? They did. Bring the guns to bear. Did this one make it up? Oh, that is impressive. For some reason, I don't trust artillery. I don't trust no artillery. I don't trust no artillery. But they made it up. So we're gonna sit them down up here on the high ground. They're finessing it. Wow. To have a piece being able to fire counter artillery fire at the... oh, because we're taking some casualties here right now. What if I crash? If I crash, I'm not gonna... why did I talk about that? There will be no crashes in this game. There will be no crashes. We need to counter artillery. What if artillery hits artillery? Surely that shouldn't mean crash, right? I gotta say though, mods like Rob's Realism mod, I'm so thankful for them because they never crash. Like those stable, well-coded World War II mods. I guess it's a different thing with all these new assets and stuff in a different time. So isn't it fantastic that in Men of War, we have seen Vietnam mod, American Revolutionary War mod, Napoleonic Wars mod, War of 1812 mod. We've seen a Iraq War mod. We've seen a modern mod. We've seen a Cold War mod. We've seen a Star Wars mod. We've seen a Halo mod. We've seen a... what am I missing? I'm sure I'm missing something. We've seen a Warhammer mod. There's so much. So much. Alright, let's make it a little harder for the Brits here attacking. Let's blow the bridge. Okay, let's try again. We don't have any more reinforcements coming over, I suppose, so... they've all been exhausted. Let's try and blow the bridge before the Brits. That'll make their crossing a lot harder here, and that's what we're going to need as Americans to defend this. Not that I'm picking a side, but I'm just trying to make things a little more interesting. There we go. So they've destroyed the bridge. We'll have to find another route. Yes, well there's one. There's a shallow to the right, but it's going to be significantly harder to cross under all the fire. We'll see how they do. American artillery still very much combat active. And the Brits, we're starting to get mowed down here. Let's look at yellow casualties now. Way larger. But oh, it's so good, man. This is so good. Oh, that man was blown to pieces. The trees are collapsing. There's craters. Man, people are going savages on each other here. Like, this is real savagery. Up in 1812 or 13. This could even be 18, like 13, 14 or something. It's later on, you know. Oh, there goes one of the US guns. That is so satisfying. We'll put some US counter-artillery on the British guns. I think they might have just been made aware of them now that they lost one of their guns to one. Oh, there's burning. It caused burning. How cool is that? I've got a forest fire. This could spread. If this really spreads, we'll see if it spreads. If it spreads, it can torch infantry and hiding in the forest. Man, no, I think it's just gonna go that far. Okay, so 2 trees burn up. Rifles and Highlanders on this side. We've got a nice mix now of just about everything here. But I think most of the regular line infantry is remaining on the right side of this road, and we got the 60th Rifles and Highlanders on the left side. Oh boy, what a cool scene! The Brits have been unsuccessful at crossing this. They've killed a lot of men, but the howitzer and the defending Americans here have just held out. I wonder how many Brits there's. Oh man, they're being blown back. Lottie hell, this is really, really cool. So the Highlanders on this side they're just staying down, they're returning fire, they might even pull back a little bit. We got more troops over here though, this crossing's ready to go, and rifles in the center. The first Brits are starting to get really close to crossing. The fuck was that? That was the weirdest thing I've seen in a long time. British artillery. Royal artillery. Let's fire at the gun back there. Let's give him a round. Let's see what happens. See if we can get any hits. There we go. Oh, the fire! It torched the guy! Oh, he's not gonna torch his friend. Okay, well that's good for him. But the tree's gonna catch. Oh. Hey, wait a minute. Your wheels are gone. Your whip ain't got no wheels. Just help him on his gun instead. There we go. Are we using incendiary rounds? Okay, let's return fire at the British artillery. Surely we gotta be able to do that. And then we'll bring up one of the guns over here. That shouldn't be too hard of a target to hit. It's a little on the high ground, so... they're not hitting it. What are they firing? Shrapnel? Sounds ridiculous. Alright, let's take a look at the minimap now. What are we looking at, boys? That's the status right now. It's looking gorgeous. Oh, more American reinforcements have arrived. If you don't think this is a quality battle, then I'm confused, man. You guys just don't like the 1812 stuff. But I've seen some comments where some people are saying, oh, the battles are getting worse. And I can admit that some of the battles over the last couple of months have been not in style with the good old 2016 stuff we used to do, and some of the earlier 2017 battles that were really, really, really good. And it's just been a lack of motivation on my side, but obviously hitting it back with something good and thought over like this is just a sign that I'm back. I ain't going anywhere. And I love you. I love you. Watching this. Okay. Alright. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Snapchat if you're looking to be cool. You know, stay in touch with stuff. And if you guys want to see, I bought a camera the other day. If you guys want to, you know, I'm thinking we can maybe vlog a little bit and do something like that. Then, yeah, that'd be really cool.